So it is time for a pre-harvest pantry tour. We are about to embark on the Every Bit Counts challenge that is hosted by Jessica over at Three Rivers Homestead every year. And basically the idea of that is to put something away every day in order to restock your pantry. So I figured what better time than now to go through the pantry and look at what we actually need to get going on in order to restock this for next year. And to be honest, we've done pretty good on most things, but you're going to see a few gaps here. So one thing that we found we did not go through very much of at all last year was our tomato juice. So that's something we're not really going to be worrying too much about this season. If we have excess tomatoes, it always gets made into juice, but it's not a focal point this year like it was last year. But we're definitely falling short on our paste tomato type products, like your ketchups. Ketchup, I think I'm down to like 2 jars, and maybe a little bit of barbecue sauce, but a big one that we really want to get going on is our curry. We do a jalfrezi and a butter chicken curry sauce, and we're down to only 6 jars left of that, and that's a great tomato product to make and get stocked back up. Condiments are something that we use a lot, but we also produce a lot. Relishes. Now, lucky for me, as you can see here, I have a lot of relish still on the pantry because our cucumbers were a disaster. If you've watched any of our garden tours, you will know that they did not do well. I think I have 2 plants left. So we were just talking about our curry sauce, but that put us over here on this side of the pantry where obviously we had the big gap in the ketchup. But another thing that we really need to be working on is our chili sauce and Thai sauce. Those are something that we love around here. We love samosas, we love chili, we love curries, all that sort of wonderful stuff. So definitely going to be stocking those up, so stay tuned for that to be happening. One of the big things that we certainly need to focus on this year is our apple juice. Up here on the top shelf, we only have 5 jars left. Now last year, I only made 24 jars because it was a test thing of canning apple juice. Was it going to taste as good as fresh? Because we love it fresh, and that's why we were freezing it. But it turns out it's perfect. It's amazing. So this year, I'm hoping to can enough to have 2 jars a week. So that is, let's work my math really fast, 104 jars of apple juice. So stay tuned and see if that actually happens, and try to hold us to it because I really, really, really want that juice. But on the other hand, when it comes to apple product, something we are not going to be focusing all that much on this year is applesauce. For 2 years in a row now, I have made applesauce like it was going out of fashion. And we still have applesauce from 2021 that needs to get used up. So there's a few of our favorites like the blueberry applesauce and the raspberry applesauce that we go through those pretty quick. And I am going to be making more of those, but we're not going to make any more of the plain or that sort of thing because we just have a whole surplus right now that we need to get through, and maybe in 2024 we'll be restocking. So an absolute favorite around here is August stew. This is a pressure canned recipe that I usually make at least 24 jars every year, and we're down to 3 jars left from last year. So this is one perfectly timed, of course, to be made in August, but pressure canning is something that we really need to focus on. I have freezers that I've got to empty, which I'm going to show you in a moment. And we're going to be making some more lamb stew, Cajun rabbit stew. That's another one that I do want to do as a video because I've had a lot of people ask me about that one. But basically, we need to stock up all those ready meals because that's the parts that have really disappeared off the pantry shelf. Since doing the $50 February challenge in 2023, we have kind of really cut bread and toast out of our diet. So as you can see, our jams and jellies really don't change too much on the shelf. I definitely am making the cherry jelly this year and some mixed berry because those ones have disappeared. Another thing that we tend to stock a ridiculous amount of is herbs. Now, I have been drying herbs like mad already, and you'll see throughout some of the Every Bit Counts challenge videos that we're going to keep going with drying herbs, but I still have multiple jars from 2022 and full jars already started for 2023 of things like mint, basil, parsley, oregano, stinging nettles, so much stuff. But we are going to keep going with that because you never know what the next year is going to bring. So the last stop on this tour, because we're kind of focusing mostly on our homegrown type products that we're producing in this tour, last stop is our freezers. Our freezers are full. We actually even started a third freezer upstairs, which I'm not even going to touch on yet this year. And they're full. And we sent 3 sheep to the butcher this week. So guess what we're going to be canning this month? A whole lot of lamb. Chili meat, stewing meat, all sorts of things. I don't know. We'll see what we can come up with. If anybody has some great lamb canning ideas, put them down in the comments below, because I'd love to check it out. Even share a link for a video if you know something, because I'm always open to different ways to use lamb, because believe me, there's a lot of it in these freezers. I did at least manage to get it chiseled out of all that ice and whatnot, and we reorganized and stocked it all up. We ended up with 30 pounds of stewing meat and 50 pounds of ground, and we've been putting tons and tons of fresh vegetables that we foraged and harvested from our raspberries and things like that in here. So definitely a tight squeeze for 3 sheep, and believe me, the other one is fuller than this. So we certainly have to start removing some stuff. And this is just a brief look into the other freezer. We have our rabbit meat in here and a bit of our garlic scape butter and more lamb. But basically, as you can see, just about as full as the other one. Definitely no food shortage going on here, but that doesn't mean we get complacent. We are still going to keep stocking, keep piling it in, because as I mentioned earlier, like our cucumbers, we don't have any this year, so it's a good thing I have a good stock of all that relish and pickle supply. And that can happen anytime on anything. So definitely working with the mindset of more is better.